Hi, and welcome to this video on common denominators, and a special welcome to the students from Mr. Ason's math class joining us today. Here we're going to take a look at one sample question, but we're going to look at two different ways that we can solve this question dealing with finding a common denominator and adding fractions together. So let's take a look at our question. 1 over 6 plus 2 over 9. So in our first video for common denominators, we said that the easiest way to find a common denominator is to multiply the two denominators together. And that is something that we can do. So let's take a look at how that would work. 9 times 6 would give us what value? If you said 54, you are correct. So 9 times 6 gives us 54, so 54 is a common denominator. And let's take a look. For this fraction, we had to multiply both terms times 9. So 6 times 9 gave us 54, and 1 times 9 would give us 9. So we have 9 over 54. And then this fraction, 2/9, we had to multiply times 6. So we have to multiply the top times 6 as well. And 2 times 6 will give us 12. And if you're not sure how we did that, or if you need a little bit of a refresher, you can watch our other videos on common denominators. But if you're comfortable with that, then let's go ahead and proceed. So when we add together our numerators, 9 plus 12 gives us 21 over our common denominator of 54. And this fraction we can reduce. So if we take a look, 3 goes into each of these. So we could divide by 3, and that's 7. And we could divide this by 3, and 3 goes into 54 18 times. So our final answer would be 7 over 18. And that's a correct answer. And if that's a method that you're comfortable using, then you can certainly use that and reduce at the end to find 7/18 as your final answer for this problem. Let's take a look at another option for how we can solve this problem and maybe keep our numbers a little bit lower. This method is going to be slightly more complex, but it does make the math required a little bit easier. So it's helpful to know both ways so that you can use whichever one is more comfortable to you. For option 2, we have 1 over 6 and 2 over 9. So you could simply multiply them together like we did here and get a denominator of 54. But 54 is a pretty big number and sometimes can be a little bit tough to deal with. So let's see if there's an easier way dealing with smaller numbers. What is the least common multiple between 6 and 9? Meaning, what number do 6 and 9 both go into evenly? If you said 18, you are correct. And that's the tough part of this question, being able to find that least common multiple. But once you do, then you know that that least common multiple can act as your denominator. Now, for 6, what did we have to multiply by to get 18? We had to multiply by 3. So we have to do that on top as well. 1 times 3 is 3. And for 9, we had to multiply times 2 to get 18. So that means we have to multiply our numerator times 2 as well. And 2 times 2 would give us 4. One nice thing about finding common denominators and expanding fractions, you can always double check yourself if you're not sure if you did the process correctly. Because if you notice 3 over 18, if we reduce that, it would reduce to 1 over 6. And 4 over 18, when you reduce that, reduces to 2 over 9. So if you're ever not sure if you did that part of the process correctly, go ahead and reduce these fractions just to check and make sure that you get the same fraction that you started with. In this case, we found our common denominator is 18, and we simply add together our numerators, which gives us 7, and we keep our common denominator the same, which gives us 18. So for option 2, for this second method of solving this problem, we see that 3 over 18 plus 4 over 18, that part of the process is a little bit more difficult. We have to find the least common multiple, and it's a little bit tougher to find that value. But the advantage in doing it that way is that at the end we get 7 over 18, and it's already reduced for us. Whereas in this case we had 21 over 54, and reducing that can be a little bit more of a challenge. So both of these methods will give you the correct answer, and I encourage you to practice both methods and find out which one you're most comfortable with, and then go ahead and stick with that method each time you do adding or subtracting of fractions where you have to find a common denominator. If you have questions or would like to see more content covered, please feel free to leave us a comment, and we'll be happy to post a video response covering any topics that you'd like to see. Otherwise, for more information, you can visit our website at www.sandersontestprep.com. The link is in the description below. Thanks.